So Chappell Roan is back in the hot seat again after some comments she made on the Call Her Daddy podcast, where she was talking about, one, how she realized that a lot of her friends that have children are not happy, and she realizes that she does not want to have children and be a young mother.
All of my friends who have kids are in hell.
And all of the internet moms got angry at her about that. But then also she made some comments talking about just like her struggles and her kind of complex relationship with being politically involved and staying up to date and feeling like obligated to speak on every sort of thing that's happening in the political zeitgeist.
Also, why the fuck are you looking to me for some political answer? You think I have the fucking answer?
Which made a lot of people that are like heavily involved in politics and like advocating for things upset. Especially given her past with like being a very prominent queer figure, advocating for a lot of political causes and using a lot of her public appearances, such as her Grammy acceptance, where she advocated for, you know, better wages for young artists, and also just her, what seems to be her like own internal proclivity to want to speak on things. And I want to talk about all of this just as a situation as a whole, but I also want to talk about this as just kind of a jumping off point to like celebrity culture, parasocial relationships, what we want out of celebrities, and also like why celebrities in particular are being used as like, in my opinion, gauges for like our own political values and praxis. So I want to jump into all of that today, but before we get into that, hi, my name is Jacob. Welcome back to Sunday Yap Session, the show where every Sunday I hop on here and yap at you all about something with some sort of cohesive through line to carry us all through, and sometimes we do better than others. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a like because it helps me out quite a bit. And if you want to come yap with me every single Sunday, be sure to hit that subscribe button because I upload at least once a week, sometimes more. A new drink has entered the villa. This is the Aldi San Pellegrino blood orange dupe, and she's good. She's good. Get into it. All right, let's talk about Chappell Roan. Again, because if you've been following my channel, this is now the second video I've made about people online having like things to say and they're doing discourse online about the words that she says. Last time it was for her like coming out and saying that she was not going to like disown and cut contact with her conservative family members, and that made a lot of people angry and upset, which I think is very ironic because I think a lot of the people, if they're being honest, a lot of the people that were critiquing her for that probably are not doing that in their own personal lives. But if you want to see my thoughts on that, here's the video for that. But like I said in the intro, the controversy this time is into a handful of comments that she made on the Call Her Daddy podcast. First and foremost, I do want to say I think it's coming from a lot of people who didn't even like actually listen to the interview. I watched the whole thing a couple of days ago, and I'll put the clips of like what people are upset about so we can actually like come into this from an informed perspective. But I think first and foremost, like that's where a lot of people went wrong. So let's roll the clips and then let's talk about it.
But kids, all of my friends who have kids are in hell. I don't know anyone. I actually don't know anyone who's like happy and has children at this age. I have like a 1-year-old, like 3-year-old, 4 and under, 5 and under. I literally have not met anyone who's happy, anyone who has like light in their eyes, anyone who's slept.
These are not looking too good.
I'm like, why do my parents do that? I'm the oldest of 4. My mom had me at 23. People expect me to play by different rules because I'm gay and I should be more politically correct about that, and I should actually be way more knowledgeable about it. And so I get asked a lot of fucking crazy questions that a lot of my peers would not get asked. And that's because I'm gay. And that's because like I have like my opinions, but that doesn't mean I'm like completely like, I don't know everything about every topic I have opinions on. Like, I don't know everything about, like, being gay. Like, I don't know everything about being a woman. I don't know everything about fucking fashion or drag or performing. Like, I try to know everything I can. But, like, when I don't answer a question correctly or, like, I don't acknowledge one community, it's like, how can I do it all? Like,
you can't.
How can these girls tour, write, perform, interview, sleep, eat and fucking work out, and like how can they do it all and lead a team and be a boss and pay people and like and be like fucking so politically educated? It's
exhausting,
and it's also impossible. Also, why the fuck are you looking to me for some political answer? You think I have the fucking answer?
But you're like, listen to my song, bitch. Turn it up.
Like, I'm a pop star. I wish I had the answers. I wish the president was a pop star, but she's not.
And so those comments that you just watched got a lot of people upset, and we'll kind of like analyze those in a second. But I do think that like Chappell Roan is this really interesting figure that seems to be very polarizing, largely because of like the kind of plain language way that she talks and the fact that she like doesn't tolerate a lot of the nonsense that a lot of other celebrities seem to kind of just like go along with and kind of just like play the part and like not want to make a big deal out of it, such as like the red carpet thing that happened to her where she like clapped back at that reporter. And I think that's like a large part of her appeal in a lot of ways to her core fans is that she doesn't necessarily play this like celebrity game. But I think it's an interesting thing too, because I think that's why a lot of people don't like her. And I want to kind of use this whole situation to just kind of analyze our current relationships to celebrity. I think people don't know what they want. Because I think on one hand, a lot of these criticisms, like the last time that Chappell Roan was in controversy, a lot of the criticism was she's poorly media trained, she doesn't know how to talk to the media, she needs to get a publicist if she doesn't have one, so on and so forth. But then on the other end, you'll see conversations online about like influencers, celebrities, so on and so forth, being like, these people aren't authentic, they're fake, they all hide behind PR, they don't actually like engage with the fans like real people. And so I feel like there's a dichotomy there. And then there is like, we want Chappell Roan or like insert whatever celebrity, it's not even really her, to like speak on every sort of XYZ political thing, and we want to be fully aligned with pretty much every sort of like political thing that some of our favorite celebrities and artists are doing, so on and so forth. And like, that's a virtuous goal. Like, I don't want to be like consuming media that is coming from people that are like, diametrically opposed to the things I believe in, I think are important, and aren't using their platforms to like leverage some level of their privilege to making things better. Like, you're not going to catch me bumping Kanye West. Like, me and him, we are opposite ends of a spectrum. So I think there is like some level of virtue to like, I want my favorite pop star, I want my favorite celebrity, so on and so forth, to like share similar values at me. But then also, with all of these things happening in the news, where I think we are like slowly getting to like some increased better level of like class consciousness, where we're realizing that like class is a big dividing factor in like who succeeds and thrives and has privilege and power and who doesn't. There's a part of me that's like, why do you care so much? Not like, why do you care? Because I don't want it to be like, why do you think these things are important? But I think some people are looking at these celebrities not as like, oh, I want our values to be somewhat in line. It's like, I want them to be a reflection of my values. And when we're having these conversations about like class and power and things like that, I find that goofy, because I'm like, why are you looking to someone who has like millions or billions of dollars to be like politically aligned with you 100%? And why are you looking to them for guidance for your political power? And she kind of talks about this in the interview too. She's like, I don't know why people want me to speak on every single thing, because like, I am not informed about every single thing to a level where I should be speaking on them. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to get at too. Like, I don't expect celebrities to be like beacons of every single part of my political identity, and then to use their platform to like amplify every single thing that I believe in. Because they're like, we're not in the same world. We're not in the same, like, I don't know. And then I think too, for like celebrity too, there's often a conversation about when celebrities do get political, and or like musicians or so on and so forth, they do get political. I think there are often sometimes conversations about like, oh, you're a celebrity, you're an artist, you're an actor, whatever. Why are you being political? Just do your job. Da, 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 da. It's like a paradox almost of like what people want from celebrities. And I find that very interesting as someone who, I'm invested to some degree in like celebrity culture. I have musicians I like actors I have artists I like, so on and so forth. I follow like a handful of them, especially, the ones that I'm like super tapped into, so on and so forth. But I'm never looking at these celebrities as like a guiding light. I'm never looking at these people as like people who are ever going to be 100% aligned with me. Because like I said, we are living in two different worlds. I am a working class person living in the Midwest who does not have a ton of wealth, do not have a ton of privilege. I have a small little platform on here, and that is the only thing that I have like vaguely even similar to a lot of these celebrities. We're not in the same world at all. And while it's nice when they do things that like align with my values, speaking about political things, using a lot of the wealth they have for like causes and things like that. Like, I think that's good, and it's something that I'm excited to see. I am not like expecting that. And I think a lot of people like expect these people to be something they're not. Expecting people with extreme wealth and privilege and access to like be plugged into the plight of the working man. I find that so goofy. And this is not me like defending celebrities. Like, I have no vested interest in like the success and happiness of celebrities. This is not me like being like, I'm a Chappell Roan defender, blah, 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 blah. Like, I enjoy her music. I like watching her interviews because I like the way she speaks, and like, I like that there isn't so much of a filter, but I do not know that woman. I don't know her. I have no vested interest in like defending her, so I don't want you to like interpret that this way. I am more so just like questioning what people want, because I don't think people know what they want from these celebrities. To me, it's like, I don't expect a goldfish to sprout legs and walk across a street. And that's how I view like these perceptions of celebrity. And I think so many people like get into such a tizzy too about what these celebrities saying, because especially on like the mom comments that she made, which I thought that whole outrage was very unserious too, because in the clips that we watched earlier, we all watched that, we all saw what was said. It was very specifically like her talking about her friends, people she knows, people specifically her age. I believe she's in like her like early 20s. Okay, editors know as I'm working on this video right now, I say that Chappell Roan is 23 several times in this video. I just looked it up. She's actually 27 and she's only like 7 days younger than me. So my point still stands on all the stuff I'm gonna talk about with age, but she's 27, not 23. Just wanted to clear that up. Sometimes we make mistakes, y'all, but I wanted to correct that. And the number of people I saw like online, like in outrage that were clearly not her friends, clearly not her age, and clearly in different circumstances being like, well, I'm a mom of 3 and blah, 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 and I'm happy and I love, and it's like, she wasn't talking about you. Also, if you're like 30, 40, 50, whatever, like living your life as like a happy parent or whatever, why do you care what a 23-year-old celebrity says? Like, and that's what I mean. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? like, why are we expecting people with millions of dollars, with success, fame, blah, blah, like, why is there such an outrage when they say something that is not a reflection of our lives as working class people? Like, what? I truly don't get it. And it's so unserious to me. And I think with Chappell Roan, I want to talk about her specifically because I think this happens over and over and over again. And I think like, it's odd. It's so odd. Especially her being like a 23-year-old. Because I'm thinking about me when I was 23. I'm 27 now. Just thinking about like my political praxis and the way I thought about the world. Like what, that was like a year out of college at that point. My brain isn't fully formed. I'm still like learning and absorbing and kind of understanding the world. And I think a lot of us are, you know, going through this process of like learning and growing and kind of understanding as we grow, like how we perceive the world and things like that. A lot of us just like have the luxury of that not being documented and being broadcast to millions and millions of people. I think like some of the hostility we have towards some of these celebrities for like not getting things right or saying something we don't like, so on and so forth. If we were in that position too, we'd probably be saying very similar things, or like making missteps or things like that. And like, I don't know why we have all of these smoke for like people that we're never gonna meet and never gonna know and are not having experiences that we can really relate to in a lot of ways. And like, there are so many degrees of separation. I think there's a lot of like expectation for perfection from these people. I don't know. I feel like the only expectation that we should really be entitled to is like a good album. I expect a good album from Chappell Roan. I expect good music. If she's making political statements, if she's advocating for, you know, workers' rights and advocating for better wages and like adequate treatment and things like that, that's a cherry on top and it's nice to see and it's great. But like, I do not have entitlement. I do not have expectations from celebrities because I don't know celebrities. I don't expect, you know, virtuous, forward-thinking, you know, like leftist political ideals from millionaires. That's weird to me. That's so weird to me. And I don't expect a 23-year-old like pop star to be like plugged into every single political thing that like I'm plugged into as a working class person who's like living these things and having to be informed about these things because it's like guiding and pivoting my life. And I think all of this is weird too. I'm thinking back to like the whole Digitine thing that was happening online. And if you aren't aware about that, it was basically like this kind of coordinated movement on social media. I think this was largely happening on TikTok, but it may have been on other apps as well, in response to things that are happening in Palestine, and basically like a coordinated effort to like block and divest from celebrities that haven't used their platform to like, you know, amplify like Palestinian lives, Palestinian stories, using their money for like humanitarian aid, things like that, which I was on board for. I think cool, great. Like I said, I'm not super plugged into celebrities in the first place, so it wasn't like a huge change in like my social media landscape. But I think not only was that a conversation about like specifically using your platform in advocacy for Palestinians, I think largely it was a conversation about like divesting from celebrity culture and realizing that like these celebrities only have their platforms largely because we as consumers are consuming the things they make. And if we don't want to be like plugged into these things, if we don't want these people, you know, especially ones that are like doing things that are diametrically opposed to like how we live our lives, if we don't want them to have platforms, we need to use our attention and our economic power to like take the platform from them, essentially. It felt like a moment where like, okay, we might be getting into like some sort of level of having a healthier relationship with celebrity. And then like stuff like this happens. I thought a couple months ago, we were talking about how like, we're not going to be like playing into all these celebrities and things like that. And like, we're going to have a more of a vested interest in like each other and what each other has to say and like building each other up, so on and so forth. But then like, as soon as the celebrity says something polarizing, it's like, okay, well, let's all turn our attention over here and like, let's look at what they have to say and take this also personally and like take Chappell Roan's words as if like her talking about a niche experience with like her and her friends and like the way she perceives her world is like broadcasted onto all of us. There's just like such an unhealthy relationship between like the average person like myself and celebrity. And I feel like there are so many people that are wanting so many different things. It just feels very odd. Why are we having these expectations from wealthy people that we do not know? When wealthy people that we do not know are like people that are like largely playing in the downfall of our country right now. Like, I think a good way to put it is that a lot of people want celebrities to be activists. And I think for the vast majority of them, at best, they will be advocates. The people that are going to be activists are the people that are like on the ground, living these things, going through these experiences. I want us to get to a better place with celebrity. I want us to get to a better place with people that are successful, wealthy, and famous. And I want us to like start really thinking about what we want from these people. What expectations should we have from these people? What expectations should we not have from these people? And it's not that we can't hold them to high standards and can't push them to advocate for things and use their money for the right things, so on and so forth. But like, I think we need to have a serious conversation about the role that these people play on our lives, because I think it is too much. I think it is far, far, far too much. And hopefully that was a good way of conveying how I feel about all of this. Let me know below, like I said, how you feel about all this. Are you someone who's kind of like me, just genuinely kind of just like divested from celebrity culture for the most part? Like, I watch interviews, I listen to things, I listen to art, blah, 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 blah. Are you kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum? Like, do you feel like you are like entitled or have this expectation for these people to be like super big advocates? And if you do feel that way, if you feel like completely like opposed to how I like feel and I'm expressing this video, I would love for you to explain why, because I'm always, looking to like understand other people's perspectives and how they kind of understand the world and so on and so forth. But I think that's the episode, y'all. It's nice being back in front of the camera after being back from Chicago. The last two videos I filmed all in 1 week, so it's been like 2 weeks since I've been away from the camera. I feel like I was a little rusty today, but it's nice being back in front of it. But I'm back now, so videos every week, per usual. And like I said at the beginning, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, because that helps me out quite a bit. And if you want to come yap with me every single Sunday, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because I upload at least once a week, sometimes more. I will catch you on the next episode. Catch you later.